July is coming up quick, and that means a new crop of games to check out. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 games you need to have a look at in July 2021. Starting off at number 10, it's Chernobylite, a survival horror RPG with a non-linear sci-fi story set in Chernobyl. Now this is a game that's been out in early access on PC for a while, and combines aspects of Fallout, Metro, and the Stalker series. In fact, you'll probably notice a little bit more Metro than the other two, but that being said, there's little flourishes that remind you of all these series. On top of that, the story is actually really well done and really makes a lot of use of the setting. Chernobyl is just a fantastic setting for a video game, and it's utilized really well. The game is finally coming out of early access on July 28th, while later in the summer it's going to be landing on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's eventually hitting all consoles, and to be frank, it does a very good job at all of the things that it does. They don't have details on PlayStation 5 or Xbox X and Series S, just that they are going to be doing it, so we will be paying close attention. And number 9 is The Ascent, a co-op action shooter RPG set in a cyberpunk world called Veles. Basically, if you can imagine a twin-stick shooter combined with an action RPG, maybe a little bit of Diablo, combined with like maybe Enter the Gungeon a bit, maybe a little Shakedown Hawaii, but it's all in 3D. This is the kind of game that I think we're actually missing sorely, because it's kind of a mid-tier AA type game. Like, it gives me Oddworld Abe's Odyssey vibes for whatever reason, while also being obviously a completely different type of game. Still, to me it looks extremely intriguing. I haven't been able to actually play it myself, however everything I've seen of it gives it the vibe that it'd be the type of thing that you kind of get the type of action RPG you could always want, and so much more. Like, I love twin stick shooters. They are fun as hell. It also seems like you can play it solo or in co-op. I have a feeling that it's a ton of fun either way. The action looks totally packed, frenetic, and exciting for up to 4 players, and I'm really excited to play it when it lands on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X on July 29th. And number 8 is Boomerang X, this really interesting looking game in which you have a mystical boomerang that you can do one of 2 things with once throwing. You can either use it as a grappling hook or let it come back. What's fun is if you do use it as a grappling hook, you're dealing with a momentum situation, and that's pretty much the premise of the game. It is a really unique looking kind of parkour stylized game with bullet time, and I really enjoy not only the art style, but just sort of the gameplay style that is put forward. If you have been able to play the demo on Steam, it is a pleasure. I would highly recommend it because we do have a couple of weeks before this game comes out. To call it unique would be an understatement because it uses momentum in such a just a good way that I think if you do play that demo, you're going to be sold on it. It's not just coming to PC though, it is also landing on Nintendo Switch, which is where I think I'm going to be purchasing it personally, because it also seems like a game that would work really good on the run. I feel like it might be a good one to be playing like as I'm out and about. In any case, Boomerang X is coming to Nintendo Switch and PC on July 8th. And number 7 is Pokémon Unite, a new kind of different take on Pokemon coming to us not just from the Pokemon Company, but jointly being developed with Timmy Studios. That's one of Tencent Games' internal studios, if you're wondering. Basically, the premise of Pokemon Unite is a 5-on-5 team battle situation. Basically, you have to cooperate with teammates to not only do the typical catching and leveling up and evolving of Pokemon, but you're also defeating Pokemon during the course of the battle. This is all free to start, so obviously the monetization model includes some kind of paywall at some point in the game, but it does introduce something new. There's a strategic element that just isn't present when you don't have multiple people playing at once, so it's going to require a lot more coordination, which is just not something that we've really had in Pokemon, at least not on this level. Like, the genre they're calling Pokemon Unite is a strategic team battle game. It is going to be cross-platform as well. You'll see it on not only the Nintendo Switch, but also on mobile sometime during the month of July. And number 6 is the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is a packaging of 2 adventures following the rookie lawyer, Ryonosuke. See, the interesting thing about this game is it features the ancestor of the actual protagonist of the main Ace Attorney games, Phoenix Wright, and is set in 19th century Japan as well as England. Like I said, it's a double pack. There is 2 games in the Ace Attorney Chronicles, each of them featuring 5 different episodes that are obviously set in a different era, but also are, I mean, they're Ace Attorney games. games. They're silly as well as dramatic and wild. If you're unfamiliar, this is basically the biggest series of evidence gathering, case building, and courtroom drama that exists on any platform. It has been the source of just countless memes. People use Ace Attorney stuff as reaction GIFs everywhere just because it's so ubiquitous and, well, because they're so fun and full of personality. The great Ace Attorney Chronicles is also going to be multi-platform. You're going to be able to get it on PC, on Switch, and on PS4 on July 27th. At number 5, it's F1 2021, the very latest in the long-running F1 series. I mean, this series has gone on for a very long time. EA used to publish way back in the day. This is actually the first time they're involved in quite a while. I think since like 2002, 2003, if I remember right. Basically, you play through a campaign with a bunch of fictional drivers who are playing obviously real cars in a real career mode. There's various features like team events. Research has been completely simplified. There used to be a really complicated tree system that they just abandoned and put something much less dumb in its place, in my opinion. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out over time, but from everything I've read about it, it seems like an obviously superior mode that works out to be less strange, confusing, and tedious, frankly. They've also done a lot of improvement on multiplayer. Apparently, they're claiming that they've split up the multiplayer lobbies in a way that will serve both beginners and experienced racers much better. It's not going to drop as many people into areas where their skill level isn't matched. And there's also going to be a lot more customization options than the previous game, which, if you recall, F1 2020 was actually pretty well received, and they've actually pretty aggressively added a lot of stuff to this game, all things considered. I think that's great. F1 2021 is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and X, PS4, and Xbox One on July 16th. At number 4 is Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I don't know exactly what I would say other than, like, finally, it's coming to consoles. Flight Simulator is just this incredible representation of, like, most of the world. Like, other than some weird glitches that we've covered before on this channel, in truth, it's probably the most authentic experience you can have of flying a plane. And to be frank, it's a beautiful, near photorealistic rendering of most locations in the world. They did a really good job creating weather, physics, and various dynamics. I've obviously never flown a plane in my life. That's not something I've done, but it's certainly a lot more involved and presumably accurate. Obviously, there have been a lot of people who have flown planes who do attest to it being a good simulation of that. And obviously, you can already get Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC. It is being released on Xbox Series X and S on July 27th. At number 3 is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and this is a game that frankly should have come out maybe even a little bit earlier. This is a game that I'm super excited to play in official HD on the Nintendo Switch because, to be frank, it's kind of cool that they managed to adapt the gameplay to the Joy-Cons. Now, the Wii version runs at 30 frames per second, and guess what? On the Nintendo Switch, this game is running at 60, so prepare for a much smoother experience that is also including various quality of life enhancements according to Nintendo. If you don't like the motion controls, you don't have to play with the motion controls, which is nice. There's also improved fast travel, and if you happen to remember how, extra Fee was, there has been quote-unquote refinements to player tutorials and general guidance, so feel like that might be them fixing that in terms of annoyance a bit, or at least I hope. That's what I hope. I'm really excited to play Skyward Sword again. It's coming to Switch on July 16th. At number 2 is Monster Hunter Stories Wings of Ruin, which is not a direct sequel to the original Monster Hunter Stories. It continues the type of gameplay that was established, but gives us an all-new standalone story. And to be frank, I like that a lot. The turn-based RPG set in the world of Monster Hunter with an almost completely different aesthetic, with a bunch of various mechanics we've seen in a lot of different monster-oriented RPGs, just does a great job of being fun as hell, and I can't wait for more stories set in that world with this style of gameplay. I actually prefer JRPGs, the old turn-based kind, to like the big Western style type of RPG, and while I certainly do like that type of game, it's nice to see some attention given to an older genre in the form of Monster Hunter stories too. Honestly, I have a hell of a lot of fun with this game. I'm very much looking forward to playing the sequel. It's coming to PC and Switch on July 9th. And finally, at number 1, it's Samurai Warriors 5, the latest installment and actually a reboot of the Samurai Warriors franchise with the intent of kind of simplifying some of the story elements and keeping it as streamlined as possible. I would assume after how bad Dynasty Warriors 9 was received, which was basically this terrible open world set of frankly good Dynasty Warrior style fights and a lot of tedium in the form of various side quests running back and forth, blah blah blah. Samurai Warriors 5 looks to get back to basics and give us what people actually want when they're coming to the Warriors franchise. I'm excited. It's not coming to the current gen, but it is landing on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One on July 27th. Couple of quick bonus games for you as well. Tribes of Midgard, an action survival RPG in a world of giants and mythical creatures, is coming July 27th to PS5 and PC. Watch Dogs Legion Bloodline, the DLC, is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on July 6th. And Fallout 76, the Steel Rain update, is going to be landing on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on July 7th. That's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.